What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another roster bubble series episode. This is the second episode of the 2022 edition. Hope you guys are doing well. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops to your drops. Appreciate y'all coming back once again. And also, please share this out. That is also another way of getting this out to other New York Giants fans, other football people, and getting more people in the premieres and the comments and stuff like that. It helps out the channel, and we could reach milestones faster like that. So, with that being said, this is the second episode of the roster bubble series for 2022, and let's get started. Number two, second candidate, I should say, is Rodarius Williams. And this guy is very interesting when we talk about his background. Once again, if you haven't been to a roster bubble series video, how I do is I talk about the player's background, I talk about their competition, how they can lose, how they can win. More likely it's, win before lose, and then the projection at the end. And these videos usually take about 5 to 10 minutes. Usually not more than that unless there's a lot to talk about with a certain player. Rodarius Williams was drafted by the New York Giants last year in the 6th round out of Oklahoma State. And he was drafted because Patrick Graham wanted to play more man coverage. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because there wasn't enough edge presence, and for most of the year was going back to the same old zone coverage, the soft zone as everybody wants to refer it to. But Rodarius Williams, once again, was drafted 6th round to play man coverage. And in the preseason, or I should say, let's go training camp before we go to the preseason. In the preseason, he was actually impressing. And why did he have room to do this? Because James Bradberry was still in there, but Adoree Jackson was hurt. Aaron Robinson, I believe, was hurt. There was a lot of corners hurt. So they needed a guy to step up, and Rodarius Williams was that guy. In the Patriots game, James Bradberry was one of the starters. Rodarius Williams was the second starter. And Rodarius Williams actually played a lot of preseason snaps, and he also played, once again, a lot of training camp as well. But when we shifted to preseason, he did struggle in man coverage a lot. He just struggled overall. Against the Jets, he struggled against a couple of receivers. He did struggle against the Browns. And against the Patriots, he got a little bit better, but still struggling a little bit, and they kept him on the roster. He played a total of 5 games. He ended up tearing his ACL in his rookie year against the Dallas Cowboys, which was a game from hell, one of the games from hell from 2021. But on the season, he made 1 tackle. When quarterbacks targeted him, they were 4 for 4. For 100, not 100, that was the passer rating, but 70 yards, 4 for 4 for 70 yards. He gave about 17.5 yards per completion and yards per target. Gave up 1 touchdown and 158.3 passer rating, 2 missed tackles as well. And it was just not good to see, because at the end of the season, we ended up seeing guys we would never thought play. I mean, Jaron Williams, down towards the end of the season, played really well. Alongside James Bradberry. But then other guys factored in, and it just wasn't a good result. But to be honest with you, and I know a lot of people would think otherwise, but I'm kind of excited to see what Rodarius Williams has in camp and, what his story could be. Anyway, in terms of competition, who does he, have to compete with in the preseason, right? That's the question. Jaron Williams is one of them. Already talked about him. He can play multiple positions. But with that being said, Jaron Williams mostly is a cornerback for right now. Zion Gilbert, he's done drafted free agent. Not a lot of people have heard about him, so he's going to be in there as well. Darren Evans, LSU, UDFA, Khalil Dorsey, the cornerback from the Baltimore Ravens, Maurice Kennedy. He's been in a lot of places. He hasn't had that much experience because of injury, though. He's going to be a guy competing for this roster because he is a veteran. And Michael Jacquet, I think that's the name. I'm trying to pronounce it with as much French as possible. But Michael Jacquet is going to compete with Rodarius Williams, because Rodarius Williams can play the slot, and he could also play the outside spot as well. Now, how can he win? It's a difficult uphill situation for him, for a player that could have some role in this defense. He currently is rehabbing that ACL injury, and I don't think he's back yet. I don't think he's 100%. I know, at least I believe, He was wearing a red jersey during the minicamp process and the OTAs. Then again, too, Brian Dable said some of it was for precaution, so Shepard could be healthy, and Galladay could be fully healthy, and Kadarius Toney could be fully healthy. There's a couple of guys that could be fully healthy, but they just do it in precaution. Kayvon Thibodeau, he could be fully healthy, and we don't know it. But then again, some guys could be really hurt, and we don't know it because he said, look, this is out of precaution for some of these guys. I'm going to be very vague with this. So, anyway, how can he win? How can he win one of the spots on the roster? He has to get healthy quickly, and that's tough to say because it's an ACL injury, and those are not really you don't come back from those too quickly. Now there are exceptions, of course, ACL and Achilles included. Derrick Henry was one of them. Cam Akers, the running back for the Los Angeles Rams, he was one of them. So there's a couple of guys that are mixed in there as exceptions, but ACLs take long to rehab. So he does have to get healthy quickly. And he has to make plays in the practice in the preseason. Now, when I do these videos, I know some of these, how can he win, how can he lose, are going to be very basic. But I also assert them to, how can Rodarius Williams win? He has to make plays in the preseason because he has to get past these guys. And just like in the first episode we talked about with O'Shane Ximines, there's a lot of inexperience at this position. Jaron Williams has only played a handful of games in the NFL. It started like 3. Zion Gilbert has played none. Darren Williams, Jesus Christ, I'm thinking of the fucking Brooklyn Nets. Darren Evans has only played a few games in college. He didn't play a lot, but towards the end of his LSU career, he did. Khalil Dorsey, not much there. Maurice Kennedy, he's been around for a while now, but the problem once again is he's been injured a lot. And Michael Jacquet, who's been on and off with the Philadelphia Eagles. So he needs to make plays in the preseason. He needs to play well in man coverage as well, because that's what this defense is going to be. It's not going to be some soft zone, drop 8 into coverage, leave 3 rushing. That's not going to be the defense. And, this is something we already know coming in. Don Martindale loves to rush the passer, blitzing, quarterback hits, quarterback pressures, all that stuff. You need a good back end. And Giants might keep something like 6 to 7 corners because Don Martindale, as much as he loves his linebackers, he also loves his corners and loves to keep some depth back there. So that's a possibility. He does make the roster with like 6 other guys. Could be Kennedy, could be a guy like Jaron Williams. We'll see what happens. But either way, how can he win? He's got to get healthy. He's got to be on the field. He's got to make plays in practice and in the preseason. And he has to get up, rise above some of these experienced guys and get up that depth chart as fast as he can. And he also has to play well in man coverage because, once again, he struggled in the preseason last year. But I don't know if there's really room for that because you're from a different coaching staff and you're coming off of an injury. We'll see if the Giants take the bait there. We'll see if they take the flyer. How can he lose? Struggle in man coverage, stay on the sidelines, and have a quiet camp. Now, for cornerbacks, it's just like offensive tackles where if you don't hear from them, you really think they're having a quiet day or, a quiet game. But at the same time, they could be doing really well. So that's something coaches could notice. But if, let's just say, you have a really, really, really quiet camping, a guy, for example, like, I'm going to say it again, Jaron Williams is intercepting passes, breaking up passes. But Rodarius Williams is just locking down the second half of the field, or he's locking down the slot, but he's not doing too much of anything. He's not being a ball hawk or anything like that. It's going to be tough for him to make the roster. Staying on the sidelines, once again, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to try to come back on the field because we don't know if the New York Giants coaching staff is going to take a flyer on him. That is nowhere near guaranteed. And struggling in man coverage, once again, Don Martindale, we all know, man coverage, blitzing, all that shit that's been gone over already. If he struggles in man coverage and, let's just say in the preseason for some reason, Don Martindale runs a couple of plays at zone and he does well, how is that going to fit in the mold of this defense? How is it going to fit when he's running a man coverage dependent system? It's just not going to fit. And even in the long term, it won't fit. But my prediction for Rodarius Williams is I think he actually makes the roster. I think he gets on. I think he gets healthy, starts making some plays in the preseason. He's not going to have like 10 interceptions or anything, abysmal like that, or even abysmal in terms of – abysmal was the wrong word to use there, but abysmal, he's not going to have an abysmal camp, at least in my opinion. He may not. But I think he's going to make enough plays and show enough in camp to lift him over guys possibly like Zion Gilbert, Darren Evans, Khalil Dorsey, possibly Michael Jacquet. So, we'll see what happens. But for my prediction, I think Rodarius Williams makes the roster. For Giant fans, and I know this is tough to hear because Ryan Connolly was cut, particularly with the same situation, just no preseason. Do not count Rodarius Williams out. Do not count him out. I think he's still very much in for this cornerback spot. But please, guys, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops in your drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Peace out. See you later. Stay cool.